Hi, Mary Esther Gilbert here. I am happy to be here with you, continuing on with the series of videos that I started some time back, but sometimes life takes you in all these interesting twists and turns and challenges, but I'm someone who likes to finish what I started, and so this is something that I'd really like to finish for this is going to be leading on to greater things for people where their health is concerned. So I really wanted to finish this. I started a health transformation series on YouTube a while back, and I got through to the 4th video. This is going to be video number 5, and I'm going to take you through a series of slides to continue to provide you with the information that you need to improve your health and to really master your health. So I've seen so many health transformations over the years, and I'd really like to have this information distributed to as many people as possible, as far and widely as possible. So if you really like what you're seeing here today or in any of my other videos on my channel, please share and share this life-changing, health transformational information to as many people as you think might benefit from it. Sometimes when people receive information, they may not see it right away, but if you kind of provide a little title in advance, it'll pique their interest, and especially if they have health issues, if they are frustrated and really worried about their health, if they tried all sorts of different things and nothing has really worked for them. Having done this for 40 years and having a practice that was quite successful, helping my clients understand how their bodies work and how nutrition is so key to the foundation of everything in one's life. You've got to start transforming your health in order for your body's biochemicals and your electrical nervous system and your hormonal system. All the systems have to be balanced and functioning optimally in order for the person to be elevated as a person, to be able to have this balance of biochemistry, this ecology, this whole system that works in the body to actually function at the person's most optimal level. What's wonderful about what I've seen is these health transformations of people who follow the knowledge that I'm able to impart to as many people as I can. So people who have actually implemented a lot of these principles, they're basically just the universal laws of nature. Understanding how the body works and how the forces of nature work with your body, and once you understand those principles, then you'll be able to master your health and follow the flow of the universe, so to speak. So it all starts at the molecular, submolecular, subatomic, subquantum energy frequency levels. So people are starting to talk about how everything is frequency in our existence, including ourselves. So this is something that it's time to start considering when you're looking for ways to improve your health and forevermore leave behind all of the pain and the chronic illnesses and the disease process, the rapid aging deterioration process that happens. So I hope you'll stay with me through this slideshow as well and watch all the other videos that I've done before and I will be continuing to do. So more to come. Again, Mary Esther Gilbert, nutritional physiologist, holistic nutritional healing specialist, author, speaker, educator, all those things that a person gets to accumulate over a period of 4 decades or so. So I want to impart this wisdom and knowledge. I'm always learning, always researching, always expanding my own knowledge. So I want to pass this on to humanity. Humanity desperately needs to be finally free of all the propaganda out there and all of the problems that the lies that have been told to humanity for literally thousands of years if you go into the historical aspect of it, but that's another video altogether. But anyhow, I'm going to start this video, this slideshow, and continue where I left off. So as you see, if you were to look at video number 4, you'll see where I left off at this slide. Why do we eat? This is an interesting question that I pose to many of my audiences, and surprisingly, the answers don't come back the way I expect. So basically, people don't really understand why we eat. Yeah, it makes us feel full, it makes us feel, better, and gets us through our lives. kind of thing. But let me tell you exactly why the body needs nourishment, why we need to eat. Okay, so basically we eat because we need to protect our DNA. That's our genetic code of instructions of how our bodies work. So if that genetic code is damaged, then our cells will keep on multiplying the way they normally do to replace old cells with new ones. But if your genetic code of instructions as to how your body works is damaged, then you're not going to have the health that you deserve. You're not going to have the optimal functioning of specific body systems. So to protect your DNA, you've got to prevent those cell mutations to prevent the disease. And so when we eat, we are reducing the huge molecular, bonds and structures that are in the things that we're putting into our bodies. We're reducing that from the macro scale all the way down to the micro scale. So as you can see here on the slide, we've got a picture of a typical human cell, although cells in different body systems look a little bit differently. But on the inside, all these systems are at work to process energy. We supply the cells help fuel the energy producing process and to help the cells duplicate themselves so that they're passing on the genetic information from the old cell that's dying off to the brand new cells that are continuing on with life. Okay, and so our DNA rests inside this nucleus here. This is a cutaway, and so you'll see that the DNA is housed in this little blue globe in here. So we've got all these other energy-producing, protein-producing factories and immune system, monitoring systems, all these different systems that make our bodies successful in life to be optimally healthful are housed inside every one of our multiple trillions of cells that make up the entire body. Okay, so, but the cell membrane, here's a blow-up of the cell membrane, and for demonstration purposes in this diagram, the cell membrane was opened up a little bit, but basically it lies together like this side here. So there are a lot of receptor sites that interpret information that's coming through the circulatory system and landing on these receptor sites that are actually reading what's coming in. So a lot of things are not allowed through this membrane. So a lot of the nutrients and other phytochemicals and water and vitamins and minerals, enzymes, other proteins, they arrive at these receptor sites, and that's what determines what gets entered through this cell membrane, through this channel, and enters the life of the cell itself. Okay, so a highly functioning cell will be able to determine what gets through the cell membrane and what doesn't. Okay, and if the wrong things get through and starts destroying the inner environment of the cell, then that's when the disease process begins, because the information is not being, a healthy cell is not being replicated. Okay, so going from the macro to the micro. So that means we have to ensure that we are digesting our food correctly so that as the digestive system reduces these molecules to the tiny micronutrient factors that can fit and be accepted through this cell membrane and enter the life of the cell. So that's very important. Eating the wrong types of foods can totally disrupt this process and cause a whole cascade of problems, including inflammatory responses. It can affect how the immune system works. It totally disrupts the hormonal system. The nervous system will not be able to process and transmit information from the brain to the body and vice versa. So all kinds of problems happen when we don't eat the right molecules, okay? So basically the membrane is our gatekeeper. So we have to provide the body with the right molecules so that these distinguishing sites will be able to accept those molecules and help us maintain our bodies properly. So the body's constantly ongoing with this regeneration, repair, and recuperation process, especially if you exercise. When you exercise, you're utilizing and expending all of your, not all, but a lot of your resources. Your body stores nutrients, or the nutrients are circulating, and depending on what foods you've eaten, if you've provided your body with the precursors to being able to produce energy, for doing physical work, whether it's lifting a heavy object, lifting weights, or traveling distances, running or cycling or swimming, or anything the body uses, does to use its muscles, in synergy so that you can propel yourself forward. So all of this work requires the nutritional replenishment after the activity in order to make the body prepare itself for the next physical challenge. So that's what regeneration, recuperation, and repair is all about. Whether you exercise or not, this happens, but it's more important when you exercise, because that way you're turning your body into a more efficient machine as time goes on, because the body's very adaptive to the response of the stimuli of exercise. So that's a good thing. The body gets stronger and more efficient, it eliminates toxins faster, it burns fat faster, and it maintains its muscle mass better. So everything happens on a higher scale when you exercise and replenish yourself with the right nutrients, with the right foods and supplements. So real energy production, that's important too. When you're taking in high caffeine drinks, high sugar drinks, it's not really involved in the energy production process inside the cell. So it's important to not take in these extreme nervous system stimulating substances that are in a lot of these caffeine drinks or sugar drinks, or all of the above. So real energy production begins with providing your body with the right molecules, and that means the right foods. All right, so feel the energy, not the stimulation of being overstimulated. So, because when you're overstimulated, the nervous system fires like crazy and utilizes all kinds of nutrients in the body in order to try to stabilize the nervous system back to normal, and that utilizes a lot of your resources that are in your body. So that's not real energy production. It's a temporary, zing, a temporary, like sticking your hand in a socket. All of a sudden, and then it's gone, and it leaves you depleted and exhausted. So that's a terrible cycle to put yourself through. So consistent nutrients and consistent exercise, consistent sleep, and hydration, all those things are extremely important. That's when you'll feel the energy. That's when you'll always have enough energy. You'll sleep better, but you'll rise and feel rested better, and you'll be ready for the day, and you'll last a lot longer when you implement all of these factors. So here's the long digestive process, okay? You have to know what's going on inside your body. Once you put something in your mouth and swallow it, what's going on in there? What happens, right? Okay, so the purpose of the long digestive process is to absorb nutrients at the cell level. So you've got to digest your foods to the point where all that's left are the vitamins and the minerals and the sugars and the fatty acids and the amino acids that create the body proteins. So your body has to reduce food down to that level so that it can enter the cell, and that is the key, to be able to absorb nutrients through that cell membrane so those nutrients can go to work inside the factories that are in your cells that are keeping you alive. Okay, so this is called biologically correct nourishment. The molecular structures of what you put in your body is so important. So a lot of foods that have been altered, heat processed, a lot of foods that have been reduced to nothing but starches and salt and sugar. There's no vitamins and minerals left in it. There's no fiber left in it, which is so important for digestive health. All that has been removed. So you want to make sure you're taking in whole foods that have been grown in nutrient-rich environments, which means organically grown foods. And people say, well, that's too expensive, I can't afford organic. Well, when you don't take care of your body, if you're spending a lot of money on junk food, that's going to cost more, actually, than if you buy basic fruits and vegetables. All the produce at the supermarkets and farmers markets, they're so much cheaper, and they're just so dense with nutrition that will give you more life and more energy and satisfy a lot of the cravings people have because of the vitamin mineral content and all the phytochemical compounds that are in those plants. So that's biologically correct nourishment. And foods that are from animal-derived sources, those are extremely important too. Plant fats, animal fats, and animal proteins, those are very important too. Plants do have some protein amino acid content, but they don't have the full range of amino acids that the human body requires to build new tissues and build new new blood cells, new nerve cells, new to create the thousands of hormones that regulate and start and stop all the bodily processes at the cell level. So it goes on and on and on, which I will continue to do that at some future point. But trying to stay on task here about the purpose of the long digestive process, let's go on to talk about optimal nutrient absorption. Again, you're going to be able to, you're going to need to chew your food properly, eat the right foods, whole foods, not junk foods, foods that have been freshly harvested, or if you're taking an animal-derived products, animals that have been humanely raised and are extremely healthy in an organic environment and have been humanely terminated. You know, they never know what hit them kind of thing. So freshly slaughtered meats are extremely important because we are made of the same stuff. We need those amino acids. There's a lot of controversy about veganism, vegetarianism, and being a meat eater. But the science is very clear that, and this doesn't get to the public. This knowledge does not get to the public because it does not allow human beings to be at their optimal level of health. And there's a lot of very dark reasons for why the human race has been held down from developing into our optimal, vibrantly healthy selves, and to ascend in the way that human beings are supposed to ascend. But that's another webinar. Okay, so I'm not going to go there right now. But anyhow, see, I've researched the whole picture. It's not just about nutrition. It's about how nutrient dense is that nutrition. It's about how well you're nourished so that you can handle the stresses and challenges of life, and to turn on your dormant parts of your DNA that allow you to think on a larger scale and have greater perspectives, be more cognizant, be aware, and even improve and enhance your spirituality no matter what your belief systems are. So this is a very important part of the whole health person, beginning with nourishing yourself properly. So there's so much more, you know, there's so frustrating at the moment because there's so much more I can go on to explain that process and to explain what it's all about to be a whole healthful human being and to ascend yourself and to realize your true optimal human potential. But that's another webinar. Okay, so anyway, back to this. So anyway, it's optimal functioning in all body systems. So nutrition at the cellular level is the most important thing to do in order to transform your health, to change your life. When I had my practice 11 years ago, clients would transform not just in their physical health and solve their health issues, but their lives changed too. Their perspectives on their lives changed. Relationships improved. Either that or some people got divorced because they were in toxic relationships, you know, abusive relationships. And they finally got the courage to realize that they are sovereign and they and deserve to be healthy and happy without someone else actually interfering with that growth and development and ascension. All right, so here we go. On these charts, you'll see, I'm going to enlarge it slightly. My computer is wonderful. That way I can enlarge it like you do on a cell phone. Okay, so these are the different organs that have to do with the digestive process. You're going to chew the food, chew really well because your enzymes in your saliva help break down the food initially, and then they're swallowed and they through the peristaltic kind of muscles in the esophagus, they get pushed down into the stomach. Okay, the stomach is right down here. So you'll see how it all empties out into the stomach, and the digestive juices or hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes do a pretty good job of breaking down those food molecules into smaller particles. So then it gets dropped into the small intestine. Usually the intestines are about 30 feet long. They're really crammed in there, all these, you know, twists and turns and cracks and crevices. But the lining of these intestines is very important because there are little microscopic villi. This is what it looks like here when you enlarge it. This is microscopic. So the food gets digested through the stomach, and then the nutrients that are left over get pushed through the intestinal intestines. Okay, so and these microvilli are very great about absorbing the nutrients that arrive there. Okay, so it goes through this whole process, and this is a blow up of even a section of these villi. So these little, it looks like a shag rug or something, doesn't it? But these nutrients get pulled down and get absorbed into the blood system, the blood vessels. Okay. So here's another diagram of what happens there. Okay, so let's see. Here's the stomach lining. So the stomach lining also has capillaries and glands that secrete the enzymes and the hydrochloric acid. So eventually, though, it passes through these cell membranes and enters the bloodstream. This is the bloodstream here. So if you were to enlarge one of these areas here of the intestine, then you could see that these mucosal cells and all these other parts of the inside of the intestines will go to work to push food and reduce nutrients to the point where they can be entered through the cell membranes eventually. Here's just an electron micrograph of what the stomach looks like. All right, let's put it back to size here. Oops. Okay. Went backwards. All right, the next one. Let's talk about supplements. So there are good supplements and there's bad supplements. Okay, so the problems with most supplements are absorbability. In other words, do those supplements get digested well enough so that you can reduce the molecules so that they fit through the cell membranes? That's the most important thing. So not all supplements will do that. In fact, some supplements that aren't whole food derived will just circulate in the body and be eliminated through the urine because they're not digestible. They're not the right biocompatible molecules. So buy a supplement that is whole food based, made from whole foods, and a supplement that will preserve the viability of the plant substances like the enzymes. That's very important. If you don't have active enzymes, then you can't digest anything. Nothing happens in the body without the action of enzymes. They're called the sparks of life for a reason. So you want biocompatibility. You know, a lot of supplements don't allow the body to protect your DNA. So the whole focus is to protect that genetic code of life. A lot of things damage our DNA, so we have to provide our bodies with the molecules that are compatible, that their DNA is compatible with ours. Our bodies will, our cells, our DNA will actually read the genetic information of plants and of the animal foods that we take in. So it's DNA reading DNA. And so our DNA is able to detect if there's something wrong, if there's a malfunction in one of our systems. The same instructions is in another system in our body so that it has something to compare to. So it knows what's wrong and what needs to be repaired. Okay, so there's that communication network in our bodies that's wonderful to let us know something is wrong. All right, and sometimes we don't notice until it's a macro problem, until the problem has become larger so that it produces symptoms. So the idea is to prevent all of that from happening at the micro scale, at the DNA level. Okay, so biocompatibility is very, very important for everything we put in our bodies to prevent anything from going wrong. Okay, so yeah, synthetic supplements. Some supplement companies will try to duplicate some of the natural vitamin complexes in whole foods, but it's, you know, if you were to look at a schematic drawing of a vitamin and compare that to the natural one, it'll look pretty similar. But when you look at things in a multi-dimensional aspect, in a holographic form, then that's not the same molecule at all. And the body needs the very complex, intricate, multi-dimensional molecules to effectively communicate with the DNA. The DNA is holographic, it's multi-dimensional. Again, that's another tangent on another very fascinating subject. So just know that your body is doing so much more than you could ever imagine. Okay, so also a lot of supplements are incomplete. If you're going to buy a nutritional supplement, if you're going to spend $50 on a supplement, make sure it has all of the nutrient factors that your body needs. In other words, a wide variety of plant-derived foods, whole foods, should be in that formulation, and also the enzymes should be in there, and the natural B complexes and mineral complexes. So a lot of the nutrients, a lot of the supplements that are out there are individual nutrients, like they grind up the elements of the earth. You might as well be eating rocks. The plants can absorb those minerals and transform their atomic energy structures to provide us with the absorbability of those minerals. So it's important to eat plant-derived minerals that have been grown in nutrient-rich soils, mineral-rich soils, so that we have the benefit of those transformed minerals so that our bodies can utilize them. So a lot of supplements are just the elemental minerals. You know, more companies are becoming more educated, or they're responding to the sophistication of their customers, so that they are creating more absorbable whole food derived supplements, including vitamins and minerals. So a lot of the supplements that I advocate are from whole foods and foods derived from foods that have been grown in nutrient-rich soils, nutrient-rich environments. Okay, so again, another webinar for how to select the right supplements. In fact, I've written a book called How to Select the Right Supplements, and so yeah, if you Google my name on Amazon, then you'll see the books that I've published so far. I've written a lot more, but I have yet to finish and upload those to the public so that they can be purchased. But anyways, yeah, how to select the right supplements. That'll give you a good head start. Okay, so yeah, and then there's potency issues. Sometimes you have a supplement that is high in the B complex, but how is that B complex? Is it plant-derived? That's the first question you must ask. So if it's plant-derived, then you're getting the whole complex of all the B vitamins, and that's much more compatible with how your body understands information. But if you're getting something that's synthetic B vitamins that are only part of the molecular structures of the B vitamins, because you can't duplicate nature in such a very intricate way that is present in the holographic world of whole foods. Okay, so it can't be duplicated in the laboratory, at least not yet. We don't have that advanced technology that would bring us out at least, 200 years in advance. So we don't have that yet. At least it's not available to the public. Okay, so potency issues, how much is enough or not enough? If it's a whole food complex, you'll notice on the labeling that there are less potencies in the B vitamins. And so that's okay, because you're getting in the whole complex and you'll be able to utilize so much more of it, rather than having your kidneys have to filter out what's not usable and urinate it out. Okay, so a lot of the cheaper supplements that are synthetic vitamins, that contain synthetic vitamins, your body can't use, so it eliminates them. And yeah, it's a waste of money. So if you have whole foods in your supplements, then you're getting the B complexes, and it doesn't require as many milligrams in order to accomplish so much more. All right, so, and where your ingredients come from. So organic farmers are understanding that they have to amend the soil and build up the nutrient base in the soil with each season. So that's supposed to improve the soil nutrient content with every season, whereas traditional monoculture agriculture, they're just growing plants and amending the plant soil that surrounds the plant only, instead of the whole environment, with the three basic nutrients that make plants grow, and that's potassium and nitrogen and phosphorus. Those three things will make plants grow. It doesn't mean that those plants are as nutritious or healing or cleansing or health building or health protecting as plants that have been grown in an organic environment. So there's a huge difference. I've written a whole article on why organic. So it's on my YouTube channel. Look it up and take a look at it. Okay, so yeah, we have to grow our food in almost a wild environment, and that's called the permaculture. Permaculture is a way to duplicate nature, duplicate the wild. so that you're planting foods in a guild that actually nourishes and just supports each of the plants in the guild. And so building up the soil and doing all that is a whole process, a whole methodology. So yeah, I did do a webinar on permaculture. You can find that on my website, holisticchoices.com. And so if you go in there and look at the videos, I think it's in the Ethno video. I'll put the link on the bottom of this video so you can go to it. But yeah, it'll tell you why amending the soil and creating a wild-like environment and growing food. I mean, the food forest concept, the permaculture concept has been around for thousands of years. It got lost for a while when big food, came in, big ag came in and started just growing food on lifeless dirt and spraying the heck out of the food with pesticides. And then they came in the genetically modified organisms with the idea of patenting seeds so that companies would own seeds and dominate the food in the world. So that fell, down and it failed because you can't, the seeds aren't replicated. That you cannot, once you plant the plant and it produces seeds, the seeds are not fertile. They cannot produce another plant. So that kind of fizzled out. And the more people realize this about what they're putting in their bodies, then it's very important for your health, because a lot of these genetically modified seeds are infused with the pesticides at the DNA level, and the plants themselves are designed to withstand a lot of the pesticides, but nature has a way of correcting things, and so that has not worked. So more and more pesticides were applied, including injecting the pesticides in the soil, not just on the plants. And because their genetics have been modified, it's not compatible with our own genetics. So taking in those foods will actually damage our genetics. So, we can go on and on. When we try to mess around with nature, nature is a lot more complicated because it complies with the laws of the universe. And the laws of the universe are what govern our bodies at the micro scale all the way out to the whole entire universe at the infinite macro scale. So the laws of the universe must be complied, must be obeyed, must be cooperated with. All right, enough of that tangent, but it had to be said, right? So again, making sure your foods come from a regenerative, organic, growing environment to start. If even better, a permaculture food forest type of environment. And more people are starting to do that. There's plenty of videos out there, but if you watch my video that introduces what permaculture is all about, then that will give you a good start. Also, a lot of supplements will put additives and fillers and preservatives in their supplements, and so they stimulate inflammatory responses, and they actually will usually accompany a supplement that's not absorbable. So the whole thing is just an annoyance to your system rather than a healing or a regenerative kind of supplement. So I know the industry has improved on a lot of this, and they've improved on their production technologies. And so, that's a whole other field in itself that you can do research on to find out how supplements are produced. It's really fascinating. Okay, so a lot of these supplements are so not necessary. Anyone who wants to make a lot of money in the supplements industry, because it's such a large industry, they want to get in on the action, so they don't produce quality ingredients that will truly help you enhance your health, So there's a lot of information out on the internet that is geared toward that kind of sales, marketing, propaganda-ish kind of information. So if you want to do your own research, always type in your phrase that you're looking for, and then after, type in the words science journal. That will separate out your searches from all the amateurs that are, and advisors that are not qualified, and articles that are incomplete and only serve to confuse and confuse you. So you want to type in science journal, and even though the scientific research papers are so technical, there's usually the introductions or the abstracts at the beginning of the article, and at the end the conclusions that will give you an idea of what was found in that particular science study. So there's thousands of studies, hundreds of thousands of studies out there that I've been looking at for 40 years and putting together protocols for clients, and also in writing my books and articles and all of that. And a lot of that knowledge just comes spilling out when someone asks a question. Well, I love Q&A sessions because of that. And so, so yeah, you really have to learn how to distinguish between non-credible information and credible information. And again, on my website, there's another, also, I think on my YouTube channel, I put that video on the YouTube channel. So look for that on the channel, and you know, you'll be able to find that article, that video on how I taught, you know, the audience how to distinguish the difference between a credible and non-credible information when it comes to searching things out, especially for supplements. So I really go into that in that video. Okay, so I think this is all I want to. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I talked more about cell structure and the organelles. These are the little organs that are inside of our cells, inside each cell. You know, no matter what kind of cell it is, it could be a nerve cell or a muscle cell, and they look a lot different than these nice round little, you know, blood cells or other cells that are round like this. But so I think I'll stop here and continue on in video number 6. So this is video number 5 in the Health Transformation series. So I'd like to also introduce to you the latest book that I've written. And I'm going to go to my website real quick so you can see the video. And this video was produced originally for another company and their associates for a product line. But I went ahead and revised it so that everyone in the world could read the book, not just that company and their associates. You know, I wanted to make sure that other people were going to be educated as far as why the plant kingdom is so important for our health. So 50 to 75% of your diet should be in the form of raw fruits and vegetables, herbs, you know, seeds and nuts and whole grains. All those different plant foods should be in your diet on a daily basis. You know, maybe not all at once, but to buy a variety of foods, and also to learn how to store them properly. You know, that's something that I'll be doing in the future to help people prolong the shelf life or the refrigerator life of their foods. So anyway, this is the latest book that I have written. It has 109 different botanicals in it. And so on my YouTube channel also I introduce the book and talk a lot about what's in the book. But basically, if you were to get this book, you would be able to see the years of scientists all over the world have put in to determine whether plants are beneficial for our health or not. And the phytochemicals in all of these vast array of plants are phenomenal, because they will go in and they'll repair the DNA. They will enhance the immune system or work on their own to destroy illness-causing pathogens like the bacteria and viruses and fungi and parasites, you know, the micro parasites, all these different infections. They will help detoxify the body. They will enhance every single body system, enhance digestion, you know, just go into the DNA. And our DNA loves these plants because it has the full array of all of the genetic codes that our bodies require to maintain itself. So our bodies are so compatible with plants. People don't realize that, and this information has not gotten out to the public. So right now, it's my mission. It's always been my mission, more so than ever before nowadays, is to get this information out there to people so that they can take control of their health and also know about these different botanicals. There's 109 botanicals in this book. There's also there's a section on phytochemical compounds that are in these plants. So there's thousands of those in these plants, and there's so you can look up a basic phytonutrient that's in a particular plant, and you'll see what it does for the body. It's amazing. It's phenomenal. And because this is science, you know, the human body requires knowledge of scientific terms, I stuck in an encyclopedia compendium of terms, like a super dictionary in there, so that if you run across a term in your readings, you'll be able to look it up. Or sometimes I even define it briefly as I'm writing, describing these monographs. So these monographs are individual, gathering of data for particular botanicals. So monographs are very important out in the scientific world. That you can at a glance just read all of the science that's been done and all of the research that's been done and the results that it has, occurred because of what's been found in these botanicals. Okay, so that's what a monograph is. There's also a section in there on supplements and nutrition and the body systems, and there's charts in there that you can look up as a quick reference. If you have a particular body system in trouble, you can look up on the chart and you can see all of the plants that are in the book, but also will help your body restore the functioning of any particular set of systems or systems. Okay, so I just wanted to get that in there. It's too important. When I was researching this book, I was so excited thinking, I cannot wait to share this with the public. And so I'm trying to get this information out there because people are suffering out there. They don't have the right information. People have been cheated and lied to and exploited. This is, it's got to stop. Okay, so I'm one of those warriors out there. Peaceful, healthy warrior out there that needs to get this information out to the public. Okay, so for now, thank you for staying with me this whole time. I hope it was worth your time. I'm pretty sure it was worth it. So, see the video several times if you need to, but there's a lot of information that I crammed in here this time. So, yeah, I will see you next time. Hopefully, please like and share and subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified the next time something like this comes out, which is going to start happening a lot more now. Sometimes life gives you a window, gives you an opportunity to just get in there and get the work done. So this is a window of opportunity that I have right now, and so I want to really help people get well and really transform their health and their lives and to wake people up, because this is an awakening process. The humankind is starting to awaken. I think that the nutritional supplement industry, the organic industry, the permaculture, whole movement has been coming together to help boost human beings on this planet. All right, here I go. All right, talk to you later. Thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye.